All right, guys, we're back again today with Lone Star Grillz, and today is a big day. Today we are prepping for a cook we're going to do tomorrow, an all-day cook on the LSG Texas Edition pit. This is our first cook video on our brand new smoker, and what better way to kick it off than with two of my favorites. Well, first, we have literally the creme de la creme, the king of all barbecue, beef plate ribs, the Dino ribs, AKA. That's a prime racker ribs, 4 ribs. We're going to cook that low and slow for right around 8-9 hours. And then we've got chicken halves here. So I got a whole chicken earlier. I split that in half, cut down the backbone, flipped it over, broke the breast plate, split it in half. We're going to season this up here just a second. Beef ribs are going to dry brine all night, salt and pepper only, Texas style. And then we've got a special rub we're going to put on the chicken, also going to sit all night. Now, chicken's only going to go for 2-3 hours or so until it's done, depending on what temperature we're cooking at. 185 185 internal is what I want on this chicken for barbecue chicken. And then again, 8-9 hours on this guy here. So we'll get busy on this. The seasoning on this is going to be super simple on this beef rib. First of all, I've cut off almost all the fat on top. At least the stuff that made it all even. I've left just a little bit because I didn't want to gouge down in some of those valleys there. The fat on top is not necessary. There's plenty of marbling inside here. You can see all the marbling inside that meat. So there's no need to have that fat on top. The other reason why is because the smoke won't penetrate through the fat. So we want that smoke to penetrate through the top of those ribs because they're not going to penetrate through the bottom's rib bones. So we're going to season up this top, very simple. Coarse kosher salt. Nice layer across the top here. We're not going to season the sides or the bottom. Bottom is pointless, and the sides I don't like seasoning because I don't want to have. We're going to slice all these ribs, and I don't want more seasoning on the side on this particular rib than I would have on all of the others. So I season the top very liberally, and then the top is seasoned all the way across evenly, and I don't have to worry about having a super salty or over seasoned side. Next is just coarse black ground pepper. Nice liberal coating of that as well. Now for our chicken, we're going to season both sides. Like I said, I've split that in half. I've got my rub here. This is a rub we're working on here for Lone Star Grillz. We're going to have some rubs in the very near future, some seasonings that we've been working on for quite a while. This is going to be more of an all-purpose seasoning. It's got some salt, some pepper, a little bit of garlic powder, some sugar, a little bit of herbs. And then a few other spices in there. Celery seeds, one of the other ones, big ones. So we're going to hit this bottom of these chickens. I've also removed, like I said, that backbone, some of the bones on the bottom, and some of the excess fat that was on these. Hard to find chickens nowadays that don't have extra fat on them. I don't know what they feed the birds nowadays, but it's really, really difficult to find chicken. Hit the top here. Catch under the wing so that skin's seasoned nice and evenly. All right, that looks good. So that's going to do it for our prep. Super simple. That literally took me, you saw it, 3-4 minutes. Probably took me about 10 minutes to trim that rib, and maybe another 3 or 4 minutes to split that chicken, trim it up like you see it here. So we'll follow back up on this in the morning. These are going to sit in the fridge. I'm going to cover them up. We'll pull them out one at a time in the morning, get these on the pit. We'll show you the pit going, and we'll check back then. All right, we're back again. It's the next morning. The ribs have dry brined all night in the fridge. So is the chicken. Chicken's going on later. Rolling some clean blue smoke here. Pitch running about 275, 250, great level. Great level is about 250, which is where I want it for this cook. 8 a.m. right now. This is gonna go about 9 hours. So we're gonna come back about 5 to pull these, but somewhere in between there, we're also gonna put that chicken on. So let's get these ribs on real quick. You see how ribs have soaked up all that salt with that dry brine. We're going to set that right there. Bottom grate, again, 250. And we'll come back in a little bit when it's time to put the chicken on. All right, so it's been about 5 hours, 5.5 hours that we've had the ribs on. They've been going at about 225, 250 at the grate temp. I didn't mention earlier, but we are cooking with water on this cook. So I did put approximately 5 gallons of water in the bottom of the main chamber for this cook. That just helps keep things moist. Humid air is better for cooking than dry air, makes the smoke penetrate better, or makes a better bark on the outside when you're cooking with water. So I didn't mention that earlier, just want to mention that again. So it's time to put the chickens on. So we'll go ahead, get these on. You can see the ribs here starting to take on some of that bark, some of that color. They're pulling away from the bones like they should. So we'll get this closed back up so we can keep on cooking. And we'll be back, check on it when it's all done. All right, so we're at the end of our cook here. Ribs have been on for a full 9 hours now. Chicken, I think, has been on about 2.5 hours or so. I did put it up on the top rack there briefly, just to kind of crisp up that skin a little bit. So we got crispy skin on the outside. Other than that, it was right there on that bottom grate. Ribs got nice color. Definitely got some really nice bark to it. So I'm gonna go ahead, I lost my cameraman here. It's a little late in the day, so I'm gonna go ahead, pull these off. I'm gonna put some foil over them. We're gonna let them rest for probably an hour or so, and then we'll be back to slice these up. These items rest for a little while. And nothing more to do but slice them up. I will point out that, as luck has it sometimes on the beef ribs, most of the time you get some pullback on the ends. This one here looks like we're going to have about 1.5 ribs left over. It's just the way it goes. Sometimes it's was really thin right here. But we'll go ahead and get these sliced up and show you what we got. Look at the juice just coming out of that chicken. Nice crispy skin on top. And this is the breast, which is typically going to be the part that dries out the most. All right, and then we'll slice up the beef rib here. Nice bark on the outside. The smoke ring around the outside, nice juicy, bark on the top, maybe just a hair overdone. It's a little bit fall apart, but then again, sometimes that's the way I like it. Let's see here, a little bit better shot on that one. That one held together a little bit better. Nice defined smoke ring all the way around. Nice and juicy all the way through. And again, nice, beautiful bark on the outside. So that's going to wrap up our first cook on the LSG Texas edition, or our first cook video, I should say. I'd call it a success. For more information on this pit and all of our other products, check us out at LoneStarGrills.com. Don't forget to like and subscribe our channel for other videos of us cooking on this pit and many others, as well as all of our overviews and reviews of all the other pits we have. And if you want to call us, 936-494-3477.